You're in the rant wormhole where I rant about whatever my $15 a month plus patrons want me to rant about. You can get one of these by being one of those. This one is for Garfield, who wants me to rant about Jukki Hanada, who is an anime writer. I talked about him in my video, A Place Further Than the Universe, when I was complaining about the writing in that show. And honestly, I don't know how to say much more about him, because talking about anime writers is quite difficult, because most anime writers have worked on a really huge swath of projects, and it's not always clear how much contribution they really have individually to the stuff they work on. You know, a lot of writers will have worked on tons of adaptations where it might be that, they were beholden to the original story, or where they, some of them are allowed to take liberties, some aren't. Maybe the director had a say in what he wanted them to write about. It's difficult to pin down a writer's work unless it's sort of explicit, or if they've done enough original work that you can really get a sense of their style. I think the reason that Mari Okada has gotten to be such a well-known author or anime writer is that she's done a lot of originals that have a lot of similarities. And so when people look at her, they kind of go, okay, I see what she's doing. And even her adaptations tend to have a lot of the same tenets as her original stuff. With Jukki Hanada, he's done a lot of adaptations that I really love. And I'm looking at his Anime News Network thing right now, so we can just kind of go through. I mean, he's done plenty of shit I don't really care for. Kyokai no Kanata I don't give a shit about. Thought was uninteresting. Particularly the writing was boring in the show, in my opinion. Let's see. He wrote a bunch. I mean, there's lots of stuff that he's just done random episodes of. And then other stuff that he actually wrote the whole fucking thing, you know? So, I'm trying to find ones where he wrote the whole fucking thing. Because if he's just a script writer for another show, then once again, that's means that there's sort of a writer's room. Maybe he is not actually, coming up with what God, this is it's really difficult to even talk about, because it might be that the script isn't even the foundational element of how the episode comes together. It's not that the script necessarily even has to come first. It could be done with other people, or it could be that, he's given instructions on what to write for that episode and then writes it, especially if you're contributing to a bigger series where everybody has to kind of be in line with each other. He wrote The Girl Who Leapt Through Space, which I have seen the first episode of, actually, and that was pretty fun. It had pretty solid dialogue, pretty fun characters. I think it was a manga adaptation. H2O Footprints in the Sand, no thank you. Let's see. He did the script for Hibike Euphonium, the movie. At least that's listed on here. I thought he wrote more of that. He wrote some episodes of K-On! Did a bunch of random episodes. Not the head writer, but let's see. 4, 5, 8, and 12 of the original series. 12 is one of the best episodes of the first season. Which ones did he do in season 2? We got 2, 5, 10, 14, 18, 22, 26. I mean, 22 and 26, both pretty important episodes if my memory is serving me correctly. So, that's cool. He did Ken Kole. Didn't make it through the first episode of that. Kashimashi Girl Meets Girl was pretty bad, but that's just a manga adaptation. Level E was alright. He wrote Love Live, seemingly all of Love Live, which I don't care for at all. I've complained about... With Love Live, though, it's not so much the script as the overall presentation. The visuals have a lot to do with what I don't like about it. He wrote Shunibyo, which is just a generic KyoAni thing to me. Mission E. What do we got? Nichijou. Nichijou's fun, but I also think the manga's funnier. The anime is mostly funny because of the crazy visual stuff, not really for the writing, in particular. He wrote Petite Princess Yusie, or Yushi. I always say it wrong. A Place Further Than the Universe, of course, I've complained about. Princess Jellyfish, which I tried to rewatch with May somewhat recently, and we watched the first 2 episodes and just weren't really feeling it. I was surprised because I remembered really liking the show and really thinking the characters and dialogue were interesting. But watching it again, it was just kind of very repetitive. Like the characters were just basically fuck the normies for 2 straight episodes. Robotics Note I haven't seen. Rosin Maiden I only made it through the first episode. Maybe he hasn't written a lot of shit that I like. Yeah, he did write all of HBK Euphonium. It's confusing because fucking I'm on Anime News Network and like if something has an English title, they list it as the English title. But if it has the Japanese, if it doesn't, then they list it as Japanese. So they had like a Hibike Euphonium OVA because it hasn't officially been released stateside, I guess. But then the 2 seasons are listed as Sound Euphonium, and Hibike Euphonium is at least the first season had some really solid writing. Although I didn't like when it got really melodramatic in the later half. He wrote Steins Gate, which has one of my favorite screenplays, has some amazing humor, but he also wrote Steins Gate Zero, which is the worst thing that's ever happened to anime. So overall, looking through his list, I would say that he hasn't, aside from Steins Gate, I think that's the only one. No, he also wrote No Game No Life, which I'm also a fan of. So, and both of those are great otaku hero stories. You know, I've made videos about these. Like, it's, again, I don't really know how to talk about him as a writer because I don't know if there's anything that, like, characterizes his entire career. I don't know if there's anything I could point to and say, like, this is Jukki Hanada. I mean, other than, I guess, clever, jokey dialogue would be the one thing that, you know, between like, Steins Gate, No Game No Life, fucking Kurage Hime, Hibike Euphonium, like all these have somewhat sarcastic characters, you know, lots of jabbing between friends, and he does that kind of thing pretty well, I guess. But in terms of like dramatic moments, I would say not as strong. But that's the best I can